back for season number 2 of this Manchester United 3-season challenge. Now, season number 2 is where I'm able to make some signings, and as you guys can see, we're currently 4th on the table. Things are pretty decent, I guess, at the moment, but it's still early to say. Let's get on with the transfers real quick because we have made a couple of signings. Now, for players that has left us, Casemiro is one of the main player that left. We sold him to Al Hilal for 25 million. I mean, quite frankly, I'm gonna use just Manu Ugarte mostly, and for 32-year-old, 25 million, you know what? We'll take it, really. I know he's still a pretty decent player, but I'm okay without him. But here comes a transfer in. Now, first up, we have Alexandre Penetra. Now, when I signed this guy as a defender backup of center and right, I got sleepy halfway and I decided to loan him back to AZ Alkmaar as part of the contract. So I got lost. I was wondering why I couldn't register, and then I found out that he was actually back on loan to AZ Alkmaar, and I was like, well, you know what? We can't use him for this season. But it is what it is. I thought he's pretty decent to have as a backup, but we can't use him this season. Of course, we have Diego Leon, which was a signing made while we simulate our first season with Manchester United. Now, 3 big signings we made. First up, Diego Carlos, all the way from Aston Villa. We bought him for 20 million. Now, I'm not too sure if that's considered too expensive or like too much for the 31-year-old. Now, I know I did say Casemiro. We sold him for 25 for 32-year-old, and then we bring in this guy who may or may not be not as great as Casemiro, but I'm more focused on his defensive work rather than defensive midfield. Because defensive midfield, like I said, we want Manu Ugarte there, but for the defender, we want Diego Carlos to be there. He has great heading, great marking, great tackling and technique, great mental attribute, and physical-wise, he's still very decent for a 31-year-old. So he has come and joined Manchester United. Now, for our second biggest signing this season, we have Patrick Schick, all the way from Bayer Leverkusen. We signed him for only 35 million? Yeah, 35 million for the 28-year-old Czech international. You know what, to be fair, I just needed someone that can finish the goal. You know, having Højlund and Zirkzee is good, but however, they are not scoring as much as what I want them to do. And with Patrick Schick, with decent finishing, decent first touch, and great heading, you know, he's tall, he's a very great striker. And personally, if you look at the first 4 games that he has played for us, he scored 3 goals already for us. So, turning out to be a very good signing so far, Patrick Schick, and I believe and hope to believe that he's the man to take us forward. Despite his current ability and potential ability, it's average, really. They just put him as a good Premier League player. But I personally think that, you know, he can be very decent. Maybe on the same level as Højlund and Zirkzee, but he can definitely do better than them at some point. But yeah, 3 goals in 4 appearances. We'll take it, really. And lastly, our biggest signing, all the way from Barcelona, we have Rafinha. That's right, another Brazilian signing. Kind of weird because we have Anthony, and yet I bought Rafinha, another Brazilian. Now, okay, listen. How often can you get Rafinha for 50 million right now? You know, Barcelona at a loss of 7 mil. I know he has not scored or assist for us yet after 3 appearances because he just came back from international duty, some Olympic game apparently. So he did not have a chance to have a preseason with us, so I'm still trying to figure out what's the best position for him. But yeah, Rafinha's here, and I think this guy is pretty decent, pretty good definitely for this league. If you look at his technical attributes, his physical attributes, he definitely have something to give. Great dribbling, great technique, good work rate, good off the ball, great acceleration. This is the player that's going to take us forward as well. Now, for the tactic wise, I have stick to the 4-1-2-1-2 or the 4-4-2 diamond. White. I don't think it's narrow. But Yeah, I'm planning to either put Rafinha higher up, but putting it lower below because our defense is really, really bad, I'll be honest with you. Not the greatest in the world. And I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried for that. That's why I put it as like a lower wing rather than a higher wing. Because we still have like Bruno Fernandes gonna be our advanced playmaker in the attacking mid, and like our two strikers, which I'm planning to put like Patrick Schick either with Hoyland or Zirkzee. But apparently, check this out. If I put the best XI, they Hoyland and Zirkzee has a pretty decent partnership apparently. So and apparently this is the best XI. So of course Rafinha will be in. But that's it. Out of all my new signings, Patrick Schick is not in there. Diego Carlos is not in there, and yeah, it's kind of upset. But of course, I'm gonna staple Bruno Fernandes there. Gonna staple Rafinha there and Ugarte. Zirkzee unfortunately got injured for like about 1 to 2 months out, so this will be a good time to bring Patrick Schick in, and yeah, I think personally, yeah, putting Rafinha, Fernandes, and Patrick Schick, I think will be a pretty decent team here. So let's schedule wise, let's take a look. We have played a couple of matches. In terms of friendly wise, we are smashing it. Like, but then again, it's friendly. Look, we even won Bayern Munich 4-2 on a friendly. But we lost to Hoffenheim, 7-2 to Monaco. But more importantly, the main games. We won Man City in the Community Shield. That's right. We got our first trophy already of the season, but we're not really gonna count Community Shield because once again, it's a charity shield. Hoyland and Zirkzee getting a goal with Bruno Fernandes getting a penalty right at the last minute, 86th minute, to seal the game. And then a battering first EPL game of the season, which is 7-0 over Ipswich, where as you can see Patrick Schick scored twice, Hoyland scored, Rashford scoring 2, Bruno Fernandes with penalty, and Anthony scoring 1. Now, I'm going to try my best not to use Rashford and Anthony. I believe, again, as of recording, they are not in Manchester United. They are on loan in elsewhere. So, yeah, I'm going to try my best not to use them at all or often, but when we simulate, it's up to the assistant. We got a 1-1 draw against Liverpool. Unfortunate. We were leading 1-0 thanks to Bruno Fernandes, but Alexis McAllister equalized. And then we got a 3-1 win over Everton with also Bruno Fernandes scoring again and Patrick Schick with a single own goal, and Dwight McNeil scoring against his former club 3-1. And a disappointing draw with West Ham. Well, Rashford kind of has to save us a bit here from our first defeat, so we get another draw. And other competition wise, if we were to take a look at our Europa League, which we are in this season after winning the FA Cup, these are the schedule that we face. We're against with LASK, Antwerp, Hajduk Split or Hajduk Split. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Borussia Mönchengladbach, Sporting CP, Lazio, Limassol, and Karabakh. I think looking at this fixture, we are definitely more or less for sure guaranteed to be true, because really the few games that I would say concern would be like Borussia Mönchengladbach, Sporting CP, and Lazio. Probably the only one that we have to be concerned about. But other than that, like really, the rest of the matches we should be winning that. And in terms of table wise, we have 2 wins and 2 draws, which puts us in 8 points. 4 points gap already behind Arsenal, who was leading the line. And yeah, Hoyland getting 3 assists here so far, which is pretty decent. You know what? I hope that his link up with Patrick Schick does help. And yeah, so we're gonna simulate this for season number 2, and let's get right on to it. Alright, season number 2 is done. So let's see how we get on here. We're 6 on the table. Okay, you know what? It ain't as bad, because I think in the previous season we finished 9, I believe. Yeah, we finished 9, but we won an FA Cup. That's why we can still play the Europa League, I believe. But 6, I would say, is an improvement. I guess behind Leicester City that's getting the UCL, that's a bit of a just 3 points off. 3 points off Leicester. That is bad actually. I'm surprised how Leicester actually managed to go up that high. But Arsenal wins the league again. I believe the last season it was them again. Man City getting second, Chelsea third, Liverpool fourth. We improve from 9 to 6. Now, before we go anywhere, let's check out the profile real quick. Yeah, so none of Man United players are there, which is disappointing, of course. I think clearly we do have a lot of draws, as you can see. 12 draws is like the second highest, it seems. Yeah, together with Spurs, the highest is Leeds. But really, that is way too many draws to be taking for, like a couple of points away from draw to win would definitely help more. We do have 10 losses, so I guess we can see all 10. Losing a Chelsea, Aston Villa 3-0, that's bad. Brentford, Wolves, Leicester, Everton, those are winnable games. Crystal Palace 2-1. Liverpool, Man City, you know what, sure. But Aston Villa 4-0 also was quite bad and embarrassing to say the least. So you know what, yeah, we could have easily get 5th. Definitely able to challenge for 4th. I don't think we're ready for 1st yet, but hey, Arsenal win that one. Can see that we're still qualified for the Europa League, which is, I guess, is decent. But we want to go for the Champions League next. Well, we do have one more season to go, but before we end that, let's see the other competitions. Did we win anything? No, we didn't. Alright, that is bad actually. So, alright, board expectation is to reach quarterfinal minimum, and apparently we got knocked out in quarterfinal by Sporting CP in Europa League. FA Cup semi-final to Man City, which is unfortunate because, to be fair, we won the FA Cup previous season, and this time around going semi-final. I guess not too bad, but all in all, I think this is a much more worse season than the previous one. I don't know, because the previous season we ended in 9th with a trophy. Now we ended in 6th with no trophies, but we are going upwards. Definitely going upwards realistically. Carabao Cup, losing 4th round to Aston Villa. Alright, so let's take a look at Carabao Cup. Who won is Manchester City. So we gotta go 3rd round, I believe. We played there, yeah. So we played 3rd round against Charlton. We won 2-1. And then 4th round, we got eliminated by Aston Villa 2-1. Yeah, and then quarterfinal, Arsenal, Man City, Burnley winning Aston Villa, so that's surprising. Newcastle winning, Man City knocking out Arsenal, Newcastle knocking out Burnley, and then Man City winning Newcastle United. Now, let's check out the FA Cup, where we get knocked out in semi-final. Who won the FA Cup? It is Man City again. So Man City get a double domestic of Carabao and the FA Cup. So let's check out our journey real quick. Yeah, 3rd round, we won Crawley Town 5-0. A 4th round, 3-2 win over Aston Villa. So we do win one over Aston Villa. We won Crystal Palace 5-1, and then winning Luton in quarterfinal. Okay, to be fair, our draw is a little bit lenient there in the quarterfinal. And then we lost to Man City by penalties. That's actually kind of sad to see that Rashford scoring and Haaland equalized. Gundogan missed one, but we have Bruno Fernandes and Zirkzee missing, so that's disappointing to say the least. Spurs winning Everton, and then Spurs being Spurs, losing in the final. Now, Europa League. I think this is a more disappointing one for me. Oh, looks like Sporting CP won the whole thing. Right, so we eventually lost to an actual title holder. So that is disappointing. But let's check out the league phase. Okay, so we just about qualify in the top 8. Just about. I mean, 6 wins and 2 losses. Alright, so some high scoring games there. 5-0, 5-4, 5-2. And those are the teams that I did mention earlier that we should be winning. We didn't draw, and we lost to Lazio and Sporting CP. Yep, the 2 teams that I kind of expect us to have a struggle with. Nice is actually like first in this and flying. Sporting CP did not lose a single game. Wow. I mean, if anything, they kind of deserve it, really. So we go straight to round of 16 where we won Olympiacos. There we go, 7-4. Meaning we were losing 4-3 and then we scored 4 goals to make it 7-4. And then quarterfinal, lose to Sporting CP 7-6 on aggregate. Losing 5-1? No way. Oh, that is so bad. That is so bad. Wait, so the first leg, we won 5-2. And Sporting CP made a comeback of 5-1. How does that work? That is astonishingly bad by Man United, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, did they score one last minute? 90 plus 6, Victor Gyökeres. Well, we could have gone to extra time, but 90 plus 6, Victor Gyökeres scores. Oh, well, I mean, look, like I said, if I were to lose to a team, that team better wins the whole thing. We lost to Man City in FA Cup and they won the thing. Sporting CP, we lost to it and they won the whole thing. Only the Carabao Cup, which we didn't. So Sporting CP wins Aston Villa, Fiorentina win RB Salzburg, and then them winning Fiorentina in the final. So let's take a look at our squad here, who has been performing so far. It is Bruno Fernandes, despite everything. 24 goals, 25 assists, 53 appearance. Basically, 50 goal contribution in 53 appearance. I know, yes, he's short of one. He's 49. I can see that. But I would like to believe that he has hit 50. Marcus Rashford, 24 goals and 11 assists. I did not use him. I did not stick him there, but I guess the assistant really likes him. Patrick Schick, who I locked him in front. 18 goals, 7 assists. Not the greatest, but hey, sure. Joshua Zirkzee, 17 goals to 6 assists, and Højlund, 15 goals and 12 assists. That is actually not bad. And then we have Rafinha with only 6 goals and 11 assists. That is very disappointing by Rafinha. So I think turning out to be a bit of an Anthony kind of a vibe signing. So yeah, unfortunately, this is how it is. Let's check out our schedule. Where do we fall off? So when we last stopped, we had a decent run all the way, and then we lost to Man City and Aston Villa, and then we pick up some wins, losing the Sporting CP in the league phase, and yeah, this December month is a bad month. Look at that, losing a Lazio, drawing a Chelsea, Forest, losing to Crystal Palace. That's pretty bad. I mean, really, we should have been better. January is pretty decent. Losing Everton and Leicester is not great. Of course, I think losing a Leicester which probably decides, the whole thing of why we are below them. And then pick up a bit, mixed results everywhere, and then towards the end we kind of fall off. Losing in the quarterfinal Europa League, losing in the semi-final, and then basically the last few matches are just Premier League, unfortunately. So, okay. So, with that, come to the end of the season 2. We're gonna go into season number 3, where I'm gonna make some major signings, which actually reminded me. Let's see how much is our transfer budget actually. 77 million. You know what? 77 million, we can work something with that. And I can tell you right now for sure that our defense is the biggest issue. Because if we look at the average rating here, none of our best average rating is a defender, other than this guy who is not even registered to ours. So, but he's gonna join us next season. So the highest average defensive player is Luke Shaw, who does not play often. So our defenders are really bad. I think we need to change and do something about that. I think the worst performing player, it seems, that has played the most games is Lisandro Martinez. So that kind of says a lot. So we're going to make a major signing in season number 3, and we're going to turn this around. Can we turn this Manchester United team around? We went from 9 to 6. A cup to a no trophy this season. But Comment down below what you guys think about this. Should I change my tactics some more? Who do I sign? Let's see if I could try to push this team all the way to the very end in the final season. Stick around. We'll see you in the next season.